Hi, boys and girls. I'm back for another lesson that I want to share that's on our list for this week because if we would have been in the classroom, this one would have been a really fun one we would have done with our water tables. But it's on Friday. It's on Friday of our list, and it's working with one of our science topics and vocabulary of sink or float. And I want to watch a short little video first, and then we will show you the science experiment. So let's watch this first. Let's get this started. Penny's gonna bark on us.
Hello, friends. Seems my voice has changed a
Penny,
bit
come here.
due to the cold. Anyway, today we will learn about floating and sinking. Have you ever wondered why some things float and some things sink? Let's learn about floating and sinking today. What causes some things to float and some to sink? Well, it's all about something we call density. Haha, don't worry. Let me explain this. Everything around us is made up of small molecules. In some objects, tiny little objects called molecules are tightly packed together. And in others, they are loosely packed together. This is actually what density means. The objects that are tightly packed together have a higher density, and the more loosely packed objects aren't that dense. Whatever objects sink are more dense. See the stone? These marbles? And yes, these coins. They all sink in water because the molecules are jam-packed in these. Similarly, whatever objects float are less dense, like this rubber ball, this plastic bottle, and this lovely balloon. They all float in water because the molecules are loosely packed in these. Some boats and ships are large and would seem very dense, but they still float. To understand this, let me explain the Archimedes principle. It states that any object immersed in a fluid is acted upon by an upward or buoyant force equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the object. The ship has a long and wide base, because of which the amount and weight of water displaced by it increases. So, as the weight of displaced water increases, the buoyant force exerted by the water also increases, and the ship floats on water. So, if the buoyant force is equal to the object's weight, then the object will float. If the buoyant force is less than the object's weight, then the object will sink. But you must have heard in the news about some ships that sink in water. When the weight of the ship is more than the maximum possible upthrust, then it sinks to the bottom. Can you show some objects that sink and some objects that float? Yay! Some sinking objects are coins, iron nails, glass, stone and marble, and other things. Some floating objects are bottles, paper clips, cork, plastic balls, and balloons. Now, you know a lot about floating and sinking. I'm going to have some ginger tea for my throat. Bye-bye, friends.
Okay, so now it's our turn. Let me get me over here. Okay, boys and girls. So now, what it tells you to do on these is on day, fill a bucket with a pan or a pan, water, and find 3 things sink, and 3 things that will float. Let me just see if I can. Hold on, boys and girls. Okay. So, Ms. Davis, we're back in my kitchen again. I just have a clear but mixing bowl of water so that you're able to see it. Down here. And I have a spoon. Do you think the spoon's going to sink or float? Remember, he used the word density, and I've done 2 experiments to help you with that word, how heavy the water is by the particles that are in it. I'm going to put it in there. It floats in there. What about, we've used a lot of dice in our classroom. A dice, it's going to sink or is it going to float? Think about the weight. Is it heavy or is it light? So I'll hold it up and put it in. It goes down, it sinks. My spoon kind of went down, but let's see if it will come back up. I have a milk lid from the milk. It's going to float. What about a button? Sink or float? Where did it go? Went down to the bottom. My spoon's going down too. What about my rock? He showed that on the video. It's very, very dense. If I put that in, it's going to sink. So boys and girls, your activity is to find some things that will sink or float this weekend. It's supposed to be warm, so it'd be a good weekend to fill some water if you've got a little swimming pool out back. One of the activities, though, they talked about displacement in the water with the buoyancy. So we would have taken a piece of foil. I would have given you all a piece of foil. And I would have had you form a boat. And I'll show you my boat here in just a moment. I'm going to fold up the sides of it to make a boat. We would have been outside to do this. So let's see. I have to make mine a little bit smaller because I have a small container. I'm going to take out my other things out of here. Now, so here's my boat. I just kind of folded it up and I have it in the water. And it's floating because remember I talked about displacement. It's pushing the water aside. Then I would have given you some pennies. And your job then would have been to count how many pennies it's going to take to sink your boat. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My boat won't even sink with 10 pennies in it. So I challenge you, can you make a boat? Tell me how many pennies it took before it sunk. Or even like the experiment he had in the video, he showed a bowl with some rocks in it so that it's displacing out. And try it. Can you find things that will sink and float? And then can you create your own boat? So have some fun, go outside and try this one outside. Have a good day with it, and I hope you enjoy. Bye-bye.